we'll go on to look at you joining school. This is in chapter 3 of this book. I don't know what you want to share with us regarding your first day in school. There are those moments that really touched you especially.
Yeah, by the time I joined school, my first days at school, I was that time living with my grandfather, the father of my father. He was called Benedict Wavamuno.
Yep.
He lived in a place in Rakai. So my mother had taken me there because she was expecting my sister. So they had understood with my grandmother that to give her relief, I should go and stay on the other side. So starting P1 found me living with my grannies in Rakai.
Yep.
And when time came for me to go to school, it was my grandfather who took me to school.
Yeah.
And I remember when I was going to school for the first time, I was very happy because I was bought a uniform, school uniform, and I got out of the tatters of the days those ones you put on normal at home.
Yep.
And so clean uniform, clean shorts, clean shirt, and then I went to school, and it was quite interesting for me to join other children because I was growing up mostly with my sisters on the side of my mother.
Yes.
Or mostly my sisters. I didn't have a boy following me at that time. So in the school I could mix with boys and girls. And it was interesting for me. But I remember I had a nasty start on that day of my first day. Because as we went out to just to play with the children, I was eager to play out. So we went out in a heap of sand and began to play.
Yeah.
And I was playing and shouting at the top of my voice. A girl came next to me and got a lump of sand and threw it into my mouth. Oh my God.
Wow.
I couldn't believe.
Terrible.
I just almost collapsed. Actually, I collapsed because I couldn't shout anymore.
Yeah.
The sand had gone deep.
That was dangerous.
Yes. So I collapsed to the ground. Fortunately, there were some big boys around. So they came and immediately held me and turned me upside down and tried to push the sand out of me. Somehow I was able to recover, but after some time, after a lot of choking. And in fact, that day, I didn't continue my studies. So that was a very nasty welcome for me, to start primary education in that school. It was called Mbuye Primary School.
Mbuye Primary School.
Yes.
All right. Now, Doctor, we don't need to give so much to about these stories because we want the reader to get this story in full measure and get to enjoy it. There are quite many of that kind of that type of stories in here, dear viewer, dear reader, and so I want us now to look at the secondary school.
Yeah, but maybe like I should also give one small thing, one small story that captures me in my primary.
Yep.
Yeah, I was counting numbers.
Yes.
Those numbers were beyond 10. So I counted I added a number and it went beyond 10. And when it went beyond 10, because we were used to counting on fingers.
Yep.
So when it went beyond 10, there was a boy seated next to me, my best friend at that time. So I asked him, Eugene, can you lend me your fingers so that I can complete
the counting?
So that I can complete my counting. So the boy and he was also busy. He said, but don't you see I'm also busy? But somehow he helped me. He said, but don't you have toes? Don't you have feet? Use your feet. So I said, oh, I can use my feet to add up the numbers to make it 10, 10 and beyond. So I used my feet to count the numbers. So those are some of the few interesting things I came across when I was just beginning school.
Yeah.
But the rest, of course, they are there in the book.
It's quite interesting that it continues to tell the story about your attitude, your persistent attitude. You don't give up. You'll always find a way to to solve a problem, which is an attitude that we really would need in our generation. Now, moving to the secondary level, I can see, you know, in your story you tell us about how you're a good scientist, and you did sciences very well. How do you what can you tell the reader about your choice of combinations, and why you felt sciences were the thing? Because there were so many other choices.
Yes, but perhaps before that, let me talk about the attitude you talked about and persistence. When I was growing up with my mother,
Yeah.
she inculcated in us the spirit of being hardy.
Okay.
To the extent that sometimes I thought that my mother was not actually my mother. Because she was very tough on us. You would not give excuses of being sick.
Okay.
She used to use the word, never ever listen to yourself. Because whenever you listen to yourself, you will certainly find something wrong with you. You will either be sick or weak, and that will divert you from doing what you are supposed to do.
Yes.
So you must be hardy, you must hard work, you must persist on what you are doing. Yes.
I can
so
see
I grew up with that kind of attitude, that there's nothing impossible to venture into. Because I could see her do the same. And that's what she put in us.
Okay.
Yes.
So are we saying sciences are known to be difficult, a difficult course?
Yes, of course science is a difficult course. And maybe that's why we are hearing that the president is even giving preferential treatment
to scientists,
to people who do science.
Yeah.
So it's quite a tough course. And especially for me, I decided to do veterinary medicine. And that was even a tough course. But even before I reached the veterinary medicine, the secondary that you asked, I did some of the most difficult subjects in science, and that was biology, chemistry, physics, and mathematics. And these are quite tough subjects.
Very, very, very tough.
Yes. But given my ambition that I had already, those are the subjects I should have done. And those are the subjects that I did. And which required a lot of hard work, a lot of persistence, a lot of efforts. And most especially, as I was coming from a village school, I was very disadvantaged compared to people who studied in town school that have a lot of exposure on a number of items, on a number of things. TV, radio, science, medicine. This one I didn't have the chance in the rural school I studied in Chisoju, and later on in Inkoni. So it was really like choosing to go for suicide, I would say.
I can imagine.
If you come from a school like I came from, to go to a school like St. Mary's College, and then be able to compete to people who are coming from neighboring schools like Kaboja, which is a town sister school, and other first world schools that are giving in students with first class distinctions, very strong distinctions. Yes.
So, dear viewer, Dr. Jjuuko is an OB of St. Mary's College, Kisubi, and so the OBs and the OGs out there, you have got an author among you, and please look out for his book. Talk about the dosing basa.
Yes, you know, when you are in school, sometimes there are things which give you a lot of fun. There is fun. And so we had those people from St. Mary's, perhaps know him, Brother Martin. He was our school bursar for quite some time. And whenever you would take money, you pocket money, you would declare, of course, to him, and then he would keep it. And then whenever you go to take a bit of it, maybe after a month or after a week or 2 weeks, depending, he would go back to your ledger and then reduce on the amount of money that you are putting to take for your pocket money. But he had a habit because he was fat, and I think because of that, somehow he used to doze when he was doing his work. And so, like students, when they go there, they find in the middle of the transaction, when he dozes, he will wake up, and then he just give the money, and he fails to reduce on the balance. So if somebody had, that time we were buying, we were counting in terms of maybe shillings. If somebody had 80 or 120 shillings, he has given him maybe 30, so he forgets to reduce from the 80, the person will still continue to be with 80, and the people will come back celebrating because they know they still have another one there, which has not been reduced. But for me, I went there one time. I didn't experience that kind of bounty from him because I found him extra smart this time. He was very aware of my balance. I was waiting for him anytime he would doze. He did not doze. This time, brother didn't doze. And so I think I was left with about, I think I had 40 shillings left. And then I asked for 20. Then he gave me 20 and he said, now you are finishing your money very early in the term. What are you going to do the rest of the term? Because I see you are remaining with 20. So he was very sober, and I couldn't benefit from that bounty that others did. But it was quite an interesting. But he was a very friendly person.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now we'll move on, our dear viewer, to the chapters of the university stage. And so, Dr. University was another moment of your greater transformation in your life. You take on a very deemed complicated course by many, veterinary medicine. And so I think you can share a few snippets with the viewer about your life at university. Yes.
Yes. My life at the university, I was very eager to enter university because given my background, I knew that serious education would only be my chance to break the shackles of poverty that I grew in. And so I decided to take that course. But before that, when I was entering Makerere, I was admitted to the course of human medicine. And then I was talking with colleagues who were admitted to the course of veterinary medicine. First of all, in the course of human medicine, I could see that I could perhaps not very well accomplish my aspirations.
Okay.
And my key aspiration, because of what I had seen in the village and also what I was going through with my mother and the shortages, I developed a desire of working closely with the communities.
Okay.
And working out in the field instead of working in an office. That one I developed at a very early age. And I also developed the desire to support people and help people because I saw it from my mother. She would be very, how do you call it? People who give. He would be very helpful to communities.
Generous.
Okay, that's the word. She was a very generous person. She was a very fair person to people who did work for her. In giving them back, he would ensure that people deserve what they deserve. One time, there was a lady whom I remember very well. She came home, and her daughter had spent 16 years without growing hair.
Okay.
Yes. But I don't know how she figured out that mother would be the one to heal this. But because they knew her as somebody who is very helpful. So I think she simply came for either help or just advice from her. But my amazement, mother said she would try. Because the lady said she has been in so many hospitals and the hair has failed to grow. So mother said, I will try. So when the lady went, I saw mother go around our compound, there were creepers in the garden, in the compound, because our compound was on the top of a hill. There were lots of stones, and there are some special creepers which grow in between those stones. So she harvested them and put them in a banana leaf, and put them in the fire, in ash, but which is hot. So it came out into something soft, and then made a paste and called this lady. The following day to take the medicine and then apply 3 times a day.
On the scalp?
On the scalp. I was there, I was seeing the kind of things which she used.
Did he by any chance get to tell you the name of these creepers?
I know the name, but I will not tell it here because people will take it.
You want to patent it?
I want to patent it. The woman, after 3 weeks, came back with the girl, and I was shocked.
The hair had come up.
The hair had started to come up.
Wow.
After 2 months, the hair had completely come up, and the girl was normal, and the woman was full of appreciation to my mother.
Wow.
The kind of help.
That's quite amazing.
And she asked how much she would pay, and the mother said, Katonda yampadde obuyinza obwo nawe nkuwonyezza. Sina sente zenyiza kusaba.
Wow.
Meaning, that was God's providence.
Yes.
He worked his power through me to help you. There's nothing much I can demand from you.
That is amazing.
The woman was full of amazement because it is a condition she had taken so many doctors. So, that brings the other point that actually there are natural herbs which work.
Yes.
Because I was a young boy, but I saw this one actually work.
They do actually.
So, now in my course of medicine, I had those aspirations. How do I help people? And I saw that with human medicine, I was going to be more of confined in maybe an office or a good hospital, and then I will not be out in the field to see the real things which I've been seeing, which are the problem in the communities, and especially which have prompted me to struggle hard to move away from the poor schools so that I can go to good schools and reach university. So I decided to change the course.
Okay.
And I was advised to go to the dean of the faculty of veterinary medicine if I wanted to change the course. It was possible that time.
Yeah.
That time it was Professor Kayanja. Because when I went to the Senate, they told me, you go to the faculty where you want to go and talk to the dean. That's where things began. So the dean asked me why I wanted to change the course. I said I wanted to change the course because of the very reasons which I've given you.
Yep.
And he listened and he said, okay, fine. And I was given an opportunity to change the course, so I changed my course to veterinary medicine, and I started to do work with, training in veterinary medicine. But I knew already from what people were saying that it was one of the toughest courses, if not the toughest course, and a starter course in the university. But all the same, I said, because of my aspirations, I would tackle this course.
And your mother's guidance never to listen to your inadequacies.
Exactly.
Now, dear viewer, to get the full length of that story, you've got the book to read.